in two parts because it's long. It's a long one. I gotta find something here. I'll put it. Okay. All right. Sorry again. All right, good to go. No one's there. It's like I can't get enough of Sirach and Shepherd of Hermes and Sirach and reading the Bible every day. Sirach, I think it was Sirach, says that if you're addicted to these things, you do well. So I prayed a prayer to be addicted to my Heavenly Father's words, and yeah, I've been getting giddy when I get to read. Good and cheerful. Similitude 9. Last time we were reading Similitude 8, which was, that was about the branches. So this one's talking similarly. So it's another good one to read very introspectively. Similitude 9. The great mysteries in the building of the militant and triumphant church. It's interesting. Among the first lessons, had showed me after initial deliverance was, and I didn't quite know what it meant yet at all. That was to be elaborated on more in depth and more intensely. It was get militant and know when to watch your mouth. We're reading Shepherd of Hermes. That's what we've been doing for a while. And when we get through that, willing, I'll be sharing some other gleanings. Keep paying it forward. Similitude 9 is the great mysteries in the building of the militant and triumphant church. So, after I had written down the commandments and similitudes of the shepherd, the angel of repentance, he came to me and said, I wish to explain to you what the Holy Spirit that spoke with you in the form of the church showed you, for that Spirit is the Son of Yah. For as you were somewhat weak in the flesh, it was not explained to you by the angel. When, however, you were strengthened by the Spirit, could speak. Somebody I was talking to, I think they were like kind of seeing this part a little bit too carnal-mindedly. And so if you did read the visions portion of Shepherd of Hermes at the beginning, I wanted to read the commandments and similitudes. So I haven't read y'all like the whole book, but you should just go do that and take it seriously. And the Spirit could speak through a woman as a wife speaks her husband's words. So so Yahusha speaking through the church. But in case anybody was getting carnal minded about that and thinking about genders and that. Wisdom is discussed in the feminine a lot too for a peculiar reason. Um, okay. I wish to explain to you what the Holy Spirit that spoke with you in the form of the church showed you, for that Spirit is the Son of Yah. For as you were somewhat weak in the flesh, it was not explained to you by the angel, when, however, you were strengthened by the Spirit, and your strength was increased, so that you were able to see the angel also. Then accordingly was the building of the tower shown you by the church. In a noble and solemn manner did you see everything as if shown you by a virgin, but now you see them through the same Spirit as if shown by an angel. You must, however, learn everything from me with greater accuracy. I was just thinking today. I was like, I'm gonna have to. It seems like I pretty pretty soon I'll be wanting to read through the commandments and similitudes and maybe the visions at the beginning all again, because of the spiritual minded level of comprehension. From you must, however, learn everything from me with greater accuracies, for I was set for this purpose by the glorious angel to dwell in your house, internal state of being. I figure I maybe I have it around here. So I got like a whole pile of different things so that I don't get too sidetracked on studies anymore. Um, that one's from so that I getting too far off track with what's most expedient. Okay. Psalms. Did I share it last? In case I didn't, is watching yourself is really important. Um, the Ten Commandments, Aaron's rod that budded, and the hidden manna goes within the Ark of the Covenant, and it's looking like the Ark is the crown. Let no man take your crown. Get your ark ready. Turn the battle back to the gate. Psalms 24. Who may ascend into the hill of Yah, or who may stand in his holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart, who has not lifted up his soul to an idol, nor sworn deceitfully, he shall receive blessing from Yah and righteousness from Yah, his salvation. This is Jacob, the generation of those who seek him, who seek your face. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be lifted up, you everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is the King of glory? Yah, strong and mighty, Yah, mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, O you gates, lift up you everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is this King of glory? Yah of hosts, he is the King of glory. So who may abide his coming? Who's getting the inside of the cup ready, so that their wineskin doesn't burst? You know, you're not going to, if you go around this time of year like other people with their presumptuous feasting and figure you're gonna that somehow eating a fucking cracker and having a drink is going to purge the leaven of pride out of your vessel, you're an error, right? Carnal mindedness is death, and spiritual mindedness is life and peace. So remove the old leaven of pride out of your vessel. so that you could abide his coming. Um, shall the axe boast itself against whom who chops with it, or shall the saw exalt itself against him who saws with it? As if a rod could wield itself against those who lift it up, or as if a staff could lift it up as if it were not wood. Therefore, Yah of hosts will send leanness among his fat ones, and under his glory he will kindle a burning like the burning of a fire. So the light of Israel will be for a fire, and his Holy One for a flame. It will burn and devour his thorns and briars in one day. It will consume the glory of his forest and of his fruitful field, both soul and body, and they will be as when a sick man wastes away, then the rest of the trees of his forest will be so few in number that a child may write them. Okay. More on this as it comes. That trees represent different sorts of people, and so to look within inside your earthly tabernacle, which is very deadly important. Um, Also, watch out for your neighbors, and if you could communicate this with them, if everybody could just learn how to scrutinize their own ways and self-correct and rebuke themselves, not of their own strength or wisdom, and prepare that inside of the cup, then I think everybody would get along just fine. But if that's not happening, um, then contention and offenses would still be necessary on one level. Malachi 3, behold, I send my messenger, and he will prepare the way before me, and Yah, whom you seek, will suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant in whom you delight. Behold, he is coming, says Yah of hosts. But who can endure the day of his coming? And who can stand when he appears? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like launderer's soap. He will sit as a refiner and a purifier of silver. He will purify the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer to Yah an offering of righteousness. Abraham listened, and it was counted to him as righteousness. Bro, code on top. What does that mean? Okay. So, from me okay. So, but now you see them through the same Spirit as if shown by an angel. You must, however, learn everything from me with greater accuracy, for I was sent for this purpose by the glorious angel to dwell in your house, that you might see all things with power, entertaining no fear, even as it was before. And he led me away into Arcadia to a round hill, and he placed me on top of the hill and showed me a large plain. Jacob is a plain man, and round about the plain 12 mountains, all having different forms. The first was black as soot, and the second bare without grass, and the first was black as soot, and the second bare without grass, and the third full of thorns and thistles, and the fourth with grass half withered, the upper parts of the plants green, and the plants about the roots withered, and some of the grasses, when the sun scorched them, became withered. And the fifth mountain had green grass and was ragged and rugged, and the sixth mountain was quite full of clefts, some small and others large, and the clefts were grassy, but the plants were not very vigorous, but rather as it were decayed. The seventh mountain again had cheerful pastures, and the whole mountain was blooming, and every kind of cattle and birds were feeding upon that mountain. And the more cattle and the birds ate, the more the grass of that mountain flourished. And the eighth mountain was full of fountains, and every kind of Yah's creatures drank of the fountains of that mountain. But the ninth mountain had no water at all, and was wholly a desert. and had within it deadly serpents which destroy men. And the 10th, hold on, I'm going to put a note here so I remember to look into something. And the 10th mountain had very large trees and was completely shaded, and under the shadow of the trees sheep lay resting and ruminating. And the 11th mountain was very thickly wooded, and those trees were productive, being or adorned with various, sorry, my writing sometimes, it's like grade 3 level scribblings here, so apologize if I get a word wrong. And just go read the book. Adorned with various sorts of fruits, so that anyone seeing them would desire to eat of their fruits. The 12th mountain again was wholly white, and its aspect was cheerful, and the mountain itself was very beautiful. Chapter 2. And in the middle of the plain he showed me a large white rock that had arisen out of the plain, and the rock was more lofty than the mountains, rectangular in shape, so as to be capable of containing the whole world. And that rock was old, having a gate cut out of it, and the cutting out of the gate seemed to me as if recently done, and the gate glittered to such a degree without the sunbeams that I marveled at the splendor of the gate. Round about the gate were standing 12 virgins. The 4 who stood at the corners seemed to me more distinguished than the others. They were all, however, distinguished, and they were standing at the 4 parts of the gate. I think this would have to do with the 12 tribes of Israel. 2 virgins between each part, and they were clothed with linen tunics and gracefully girded, having their right shoulders exposed as if about to bear some burden. Thus they stood ready, for they were exceedingly cheerful and eager. After I had seen these things, I marveled in myself, because I was beholding great and glorious signs. Let's see if I can find something here that I was studying about today quickly. Oh no, it was over here. It was in fine linen from Revelation 19 is okay, so this is from Revelation 19, starting in verse 6. And I heard as it were the voice of a great multitude, as the sound of many waters, as the sound of mighty thunder, saying, Praise Yah, for Yah omnipotent reigns. Let us be glad and rejoice and give him glory, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his wife has made herself ready. And to her it was granted to be arrayed in fine linen, clean and bright, for the fine linen is the righteous acts of the saints. So here in Revelation 19, it says, fine linen is the righteous acts of the saints. And he said to me, Right, blessed are those who are called to the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said to me, These are the true sayings of Yah. And I fell at his feet to worship him. But he said to me, See that you do not do that. I am your fellow servant and of your brethren who have the testimony of Yahusha. Worship Yah, for the testimony of Yahusha is the spirit of prophecy. So fine linen is the righteous acts of the saints, and You want to be invited to the wedding feast, and if you are invited there and you find yourself there, seek the lowest position. Uh, say that's very deadly important. Um, in the New Testament, and then also 25 and Proverbs 25 and verse 6. Do not exalt yourself in the presence of the king, and do not stand in the place of the great, for it is better that he say to you, come up here, than that you should be put lower in the presence of the prince whom your eyes have seen. So you don't want to just presumptuously take a spot. Um, he who is greatest will be a servant. Glory, I was beholding great and glorious signs, and again I was perplexed about the virgins, because although so delicate, they were standing courageously as if about to carry the whole heavens. And the shepherd said to me, why are you reasoning in yourself and perplexing your mind and distressing yourself? For the things which you cannot understand, do not attempt to comprehend as if you were wise, but ask Yah that you may receive understanding. That's one of the seven spirits, and know them. You cannot see what is behind you, but you see what is before. Whatever then you cannot see, let alone, and do not torment yourself about it. But what you see, make yourself master of it, and do not waste your labor about other things, and I will explain to you everything that I show you. Look therefore on the things that remain. Chapter 3. Okay, now we go to, I got this stack of rest of Shepherd of Hermes, Similitude 9, Shepherd of Hermes. So hopefully it's in the right order here. I saw 6 men come. Do I got the right one? Okay, so chapter 3. I saw 6 men come, tall and distinguished and similar in appearance, and they summoned a multitude of men, and they who came were also tall men and handsome and powerful. And the 6 men commanded them to build a tower above the rock. And great was the noise of those men who came to build the tower, as they ran here and there around the gate. And the virgins who stood around the gate told the men to hasten to build the tower. Now the virgins had spread out their hands as if about to receive something from the men. I had a note, Lamentations 3, about holy hands, who's going to catch the babies. Holy hands and holy hearts. Is what I wanted to look into again, too. So why not read Lamentations 3? So it's lifting up the hands. Let us lift up our hearts and hands to Yah in heaven. We have transgressed and rebelled. You have not pardoned. So Lamentations 2 and 3. Let us verse chapter 3 from Lamentations, chapter 3 verse 40. Let us search out and examine our ways and turn back to Yah. Let us lift up our hearts and hands to Yah in heaven. So we've all fallen short of the glory of Yah. And so let us search out and examine our ways, scrutinize our ways, get the inside of the cup clean. Okay, so those men who came to build the tower, as they ran here and there around the gate, and the virgins who stood around the gate told the men to hasten to build the tower. Now the virgins had spread out their hands as if about to receive something from the men, and the 6 men commanded stones to ascend out of a certain pit and to go to the building of the tower. And there went up 10 shining rectangular stones, not hewn in a quarry. And the 6 men called the virgins and bade them carry all the stones that were intended for the building, and to pass through the gate, and give them to the men who were about to build the tower. And the virgins put upon one another the 10 first stones which had ascended from the pit, and carried them together, each stone by itself. Chapter 4. And as they stood together around the gate, those who seemed to be strong carried them, and they stooped down under the corners of the stone, and the others stooped down under the sides of the stones. And in this way they carried all the stones, and they carried them through the gate as they were commanded, and gave them to the men for the tower. And they took the stones and proceeded with the building. Now the tower was built upon the great rock, and above the gate those 10 stones were prepared as the foundation for the building of the tower, and the rock and gate were the support of the whole tower. And after the 10 stones, other 25 came up out of the pit, and these were fitted into the building of the tower, being carried by the virgins as before. And after these ascended 35, and these in like manner were fitted into the tower. And after these, other 40 stones came up, and all these were cast into the building of the tower. And there were 4 rows in the foundation of the tower, and they ceased ascending from the pit, and the builders also ceased for a little. And again the 6 men commanded the multitude of the crowd to bear stones from the mountains for the building of the tower. They were accordingly brought from all the mountains of various colors, and being hewn by the men, were given to the virgins. And the virgins carried them through the gate, and gave them for the building of the tower. And when the stones of various colors were placed in the building, they all became white alike, and lost their different colors. And certain stones were given by the men for the building, and those did not become shining, but as they were placed, such also they found to remain, for they were not given by the virgins, nor carried through the gate. These stones therefore were not in keeping with the others in the building of the tower. And the 6 men, seeing those unsuitable stones in the building, commanded them to be taken away, and to be carried away to their own place whence they had been taken. And being removed one by one, they were laid aside. And they say to the men who brought the stones, do not bring any stones at all for the building, but lay them down beside the tower, that the virgins may carry them through the gate, and may give them for the building. For unless, they said, they be carried through the gate, try to climb up another way, by the hands of the virgins, they cannot change their colors. Do not toil, therefore, they said, to no purpose. We got this in order. Do not toil to no purpose. The pit and were not hewn, but came as they were to the building. Why, in the first place were 10 stones placed in the foundation, then 25, then 35, then 40. I wish also to know about the stones that went into the building, were again taken out, and returned to their own place. On all these points put my mind at rest, sir, and explain them to me. If you are not found to be curious about trifles, he replied, you shall know everything. For after a few days we shall come hither, and you will see the other things that happened to this tower, and will know accurately all the similitudes after a few days. We came to the place where we sat down, and he said to me, let us go to the tower, for the master of the tower is coming to examine it. And we came to the tower, and there was no one at all near it, save the virgins only. And the shepherd asked the virgins if perchance the oh crap was I did I have this right? Oh crap! I read that in the wrong order, so I had the page backwards there. Uh, Chapter 4, and then we went to chapter 5. Okay, I'm sure not finished. The tower, we answered, cannot be finished just yet until the master of it come and examine the building, in order that if any of these stones be found to be decayed, he may change them, for the tower is built according to his pleasure. I would like to know, sir, I said, what is the meaning of the building of this tower, and what the rock and gate and the mountains and the virgins mean, and the stones that ascended from. Okay, now we got it in the right order. The pit, and were not hewn, but came as they were to the building. Why, in the first place, were the 10 stones placed in the foundation, then 25, then 35, then 40? That reminds me of a parable there. I wish also to know about the stones that went into the building and were again taken out and returned to their own place. On all these points put my mind at rest, sir, and explain them to me. If you are not found to be curious about trifles, he replied, you shall know everything, for after a few days we shall come hither, and you will see the other things that happen to this tower, and will know accurately all the similitudes. After a few days we came to the place where we sat down, and he said to me, let us go to the tower, for the master of the tower is coming to examine it. And we came to the tower, and there was no one at all near it, save the virgins only. And the shepherd asked the virgins if perchance the master of the tower had come, and they replied that he was about to come to examine the building. Chapter 6. And behold, after a little, I see an array of many men coming, and in the midst of them one man of them so remarkable a size as to overtop the tower. And the 6 men who had worked upon the building were with him, and many other honorable men were around him. And the virgins who kept the tower ran forward and kissed him, and began to walk near him around the tower. And that man examined the building carefully, feeling every stone separately, and holding a rod in his hand, he struck every stone in the building 3 times. So, sounds like Yahusha himself comes and tests the stones in the tower. This reminds me about the parable of the wedding feast. Those that didn't have official garments. So, comes holding a rod in his hand. He struck every stone in the building 3 times, and when he struck them, some of them became black as soot, and some appeared as if covered with scabs, and some cracked, and some mutilated, and some neither white nor black, and some rough and not in keeping with the others stones, and some having very many stains. Such were the variety of decayed stones that were found in the building. He ordered all these to be taken. He wished them to be brought and put in their place. And he did not command them to be brought from the mountains, but he bade them to be brought from a certain plain which was near at hand. And the plain was dug up, and shining rectangular stones were found, and some also of a round shape. And all the stones which were in that plain were brought and carried through the gate by the virgins. And the rectangular stones were hewn and put in place of those that were taken away. But the rounded stones were not put into the building because they were hard to hew and appeared to yield slowly to the chisel. They were deposited, however, beside the tower as if intended to be hewn and used in the building, for they were exceedingly brilliant. And I think we're on chapter 7 now. The glorious man, the master of the whole tower, having accordingly finished these alterations, and those do not throw far away from the tower, having given these orders to the shepherd, he departed the tower with all those whom he had come. Now the virgins were standing around the tower, keeping it. I said again to the shepherd, can these stones return to the building of the tower after being rejected? He answered me and said, do you see these stones return to the building of the tower after being rejected? He answered me and said, do you see these stones? I see them, sir, I replied. The greater part of these stones, he said, I will hew and put into the building, and they will harmonize with the others. How, sir, I said, can they, after being cut all around about, fill up the same space? He answered, those that shall be found small will be thrown into the middle of the building, and those that are larger will be placed on the outside, and they will hold them together. Having spoken these words, he said to me, let us go, and after 2 days let us come and clean these stones and cast them into the building. For all things around the tower must be cleared, lest the master come suddenly and find the places about the tower dirty and be displeased, and thus stones be not returned for the building of the tower. And I also shall seem to be neglectful towards the waste. Also shall seem to be neglectful towards the master. And after 2 days we came to the tower, and he said to me, let us examine all the stores and ascertain those which may return to the building. I said to him, sir, let us examine them. Chapter 8. And beginning, we first examined the black stones and such as had been taken out of the building, were they found to remain, and the shepherd ordered them to be removed out of the tower and to be placed apart. Next, he examined those that had scabs, and he took and hewed many of these, and commanded the virgins to take them up and cast them into the building. And the virgins lifted them up and put them in the middle of the building of the tower, and the rest he ordered to be laid down beside the black ones, for these two were found to be black. He next examined those that had cracks, and he hewed many of these and commanded them to be carried by the virgins to the building. And they were placed on the outside because they were found to be sounder than the others. But the rest, on account of the multitude of the cracks, could not be hewn, and for this reason, therefore, they were rejected from the building of the tower. He next examined the chipped stones, and many among these were found to be black, and some to have great cracks, and these also he commanded to be laid down. Along with those which had been rejected, and the rest were all taken away by the virgins, for being white they were fitted by the virgins themselves into the building. And the virgins took them up and fitted them into the middle of the building of the tower, for they were somewhat weak. Next he examined those that were half white and half black, and many of them were found to be black. And he commanded these also to be taken away, along with those which had been rejected, and the rest were all taken away by the virgins, for being white they were fitted by the virgins themselves into the building. And they were placed upon the outside because they were found to be sound, so as to be able to support those which were placed upon the outside, because they were found to be sound. So I rewrote the same thing twice there. So they were found to be sound, so as to be able to support those that were placed in the middle. Oh, for no part of them at all was chipped. He next examined those that were round and hard, and a few of them were rejected because they could not be hewn, as they were found exceedingly hard. Wonder if that has to do with stony hearts there. And a few of them were rejected because they could not be hewed, as they were found exceedingly hard. But the rest of them were hewn and carried by the virgins and fitted into the middle of the building of the tower, for they were somewhat weak. He next examined those that had stains, and of these a very few were black and were thrown aside with the others. But the greater part were found to be bright, and these were fitted by the virgins into the building, but an account of their strength were placed on the outside. Chapter 9 we're on. See if my wife wants to read a little bit. I could watch them. Watch them? I could watch them and the movies. Just let me know where you get to. Come here. Where are you going?
I can hold the phone closer.
Yeah. Yeah, you could. There's still enough light. But yeah, you can just hold it. This one.
Yeah.
It's on chapter 9.
Okay.
Yeah, just let me know where you get. So
Do you want me to read like how much of it?
try to read a whole chapter or something.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. Eliana has a little heyday.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. All right, chapter 9. He next came to examine the white and rounded stones and said to me, "What are we to do with these stones?" "How do I know, sir?" I replied. "Have you no intentions regarding them?" "Sir," I answered, "I am not acquainted with this art, neither am I a stone cutter, nor can I tell." "Do you not see," he said, "that they are exceedingly round? And if I wish to make them rectangular, a large portion of them must be cut away. For some of them must of necessity be put into the building. If therefore I said they must, why do ye torment yourself, and not at once choose for the building those which you prefer, and fit them into it?" He selected the large ones amongst them, and the shining ones, and hewed them, and the virgins carried and fitted them into the outside parts of the building. And the rest which remained over were carried away and laid down on the plain from which they were brought. They were not, however, rejected, because he said, "There remains yet a little addition to be built to the tower. And the Lord of this tower wishes all the stones to be fitted into the building, because they are exceedingly bright." And 12 women were called, very beautiful in form, clothed in black, and were with hair, and these women seemed to me to be fierce. But the shepherd commanded them to lift the stones that were rejected from the building, and to carry them away to the mountains from which they had been brought. And they were merry, and carried away all the stones, and put them in the place whence they had been taken. Now after all the stones were removed, and there was no longer a single one lying around the tower, he said, "Let us go round the tower and see, lest there be any defect in it." So I went round the tower along with him, and the shepherd, seeing that the tower was beautifully built, rejoiced exceedingly, for the tower was built in such a way that, on seeing it, I coveted the building of it. For it was constructed as if built of one stone, without a single joining. And the stone seemed as it hewn out of the rock, having to me the appearance of a monolith. As I walked along with him, I was full of joy, beholding so many excellent things. And the shepherd said to me, "Go and bring unslacked lime and fine baked clay, that I may fill up the forms of the stones that were taken and thrown into the building. For everything about the tower must be smooth." And I did as he commanded me, and brought it to him. "Assist me," he said, "and the work will soon be finished." He accordingly filled up the forms of the stones that were returned to the building, and commanded the places around the tower to be swept and to be cleaned. And the virgins took brooms and swept the place, and carried all the dirt out of the tower, and brought water, and the ground around the tower became cheerful and very beautiful. Says the shepherd to me, "Everything has been cleared away. If the Lord of the tower come to inspect it, he can have no fault to find with us." Having spoken these words, he wished to depart. But I laid hold of him by the wallet, and began to adjure him by the Lord that he would explain what he had showed me. He said to me, "I must rest a little, and then I shall explain to you everything. Wait for me here until I return." I said to him, "Sir, what can I do here alone?" "You are not alone," he said, "for these virgins are with you. Give me in charge to them." Then I replied. The shepherd called them to him, and said to them, I entrust him and to you until I come, and went away. And I was alone with the virgins, and they were rather merry, but were friendly to me, especially the four more distinguished of them. Okay, right up to chapter 11. You want to read?
Yeah, I just rolled through acid.
Okay.
I'll get her so I grab her behind you. Alright.
I was trying to look for chapters, and then I just saw.
Alright.
Yeah.
You got through 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
11.
Uh-huh.
I finished chapter 11 somewhere.
You finished up to
Right
chapter
there,
11?
right there.
Oh, that's what you read 10 too? Oh, yeah.
Oh, I read. Yeah, I didn't read 11.
Did you read 10?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you want this? I don't think I'll need this.
You don't?
No, because I got all the, I got all, oh, did I leave them? Could you grab my papers from out there? I think I left them on the crate out there. Monkey. Monkey, monkey, monkey. Yeah, monkey. You're a monkey. My Bible section. Thank you. Chapter 10 then?
Chapter you start on 11.
Okay. You read through? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I just read those two.
Okay. Two, 9. Okay. Chapter 11. Then I'm gonna read. Okay, so. Hey, you snuck in here. What are you going to do? Hey, what are you doing? Come here. Why are you getting into things? The virgin said to me, the shepherd does not come here today. What then, said I, am I to do? They replied, wait for him until he comes, and if he comes, he will converse with you, and if he does not come, you will remain here with us until he does come. I said to them, I will wait for him until it is late, and if he does not arrive, I will go away into the house and come back early in the morning. And they answered and said to me, you were entrusted to us, you cannot go away from us. Where then, I said, am I to remain? You will sleep with us, they replied, as a brother and not as a husband, for you are our brother, and for the time to come we intend to abide with you, for we love you exceedingly. But I was ashamed to remain with them. And she who seemed to be the first among them began to kiss me, and the others, seeing her kissing me, began also to kiss me, and to lead me round the tower and to play with me. And I too became like a young man and began to play with them. For some of them formed a chorus, and others danced, and others sang, and I, keeping silence, walked with them around the tower and was merry with them. And when it grew late, I wished to go into the tower, and they would not let me, but detained me. So I remained with them during the night, and I slept beside the tower. Now the virgins spread their linen tunics on the ground, and made me lie down in the midst of them. And they did nothing at all but pray, and I without ceasing prayed with them, and not less than they. And the virgins rejoiced because I thus prayed, and I remained there with the virgins till the next day at the second hour. Then the shepherd returned and said to the virgins, did you offer him any insult? As him they said, I said to him, sir, I was delighted that I remained with them. On what he asked, did you sup? I supped, sir. And I replied, on the words of the master the whole night. Did they receive you well? He inquired. Yes, sir, I answered. Now he said, what do you wish to hear first? I wish to hear in the order I said. Um, okay. 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 I wish to hear in the order I said, in which you showed me from the beginning. I beg of you, sir, that as I shall ask you, so also you will give me the explanation. As you wish, he replied, so also I will explain to you, and will conceal nothing at all from you. First of all, sir, I said, explain this to me. What is the meaning of the rock and the gate? This rock, he answered, and this gate are the son of Yah. How, sir, I said, the rock is old and the gate is new. Listen, he said, and understand, O ignorant man. The Son of Yah is older than all his creatures, so that he was a fellow counselor with the Father in his work of our creation. For this reason is he old, and why is the gate new, sir? I said, because he answered, he became manifest in the last days of the dispensation. For this reason the gate was made new, that they who are to be saved by it might enter into the kingdom of Yah. You saw, he said, that those stones which came in through the gate were used for the building of the tower, and that those which did not come were again thrown back to their own place. I saw, sir, I replied. In like manner, he continued, no one shall enter into the kingdom of Yah unless he receive his holy name. For if you desire to enter into a city, and that city is surrounded by a wall and has but one gate, can you enter into the city except through its gate? So, in like manner, a man cannot otherwise enter into the kingdom of Yah than by the name of his beloved Son. You saw, he added, the multitude who were building the tower. I saw them, sir. I said, those he said are glorious angels, and by them accordingly as Yah surrounded is the gate, and the gate is the Son of Yah. This is the one entrance to Yah. In no other way then shall anyone enter into him except through his Son, Yeshua. You saw, he continued, the 6 men and the tall and glorious men in the midst of them who walked round the tower and rejected the stones from the building. I saw him, sir. I answered, the glorious man, he said, is the Son of Yah, and those 6 glorious angels are those who support him on the right hand and on the left. None of these glorious angels, he continued, will enter in unto Yah apart from him. Whosoever does not receive his name shall not enter into the kingdom of Yah. Okay, chapter 13. And the tower asked, what does it mean? This tower, he replied, is the church. And these virgins, who are they? They are holy spirits, and men cannot otherwise be found in the kingdom of Yah unless these have put their clothing upon. And if you receive the name only and do not receive from them the clothing, they are of no advantage to you. Oh my goodness! So you need the seven spirits. For these virgins are the powers of the Son of Yah. If you bear his name but possess not his power, it will be in vain that you bear his name. These stones, he continued, which you saw rejected, bore his name, but did not put on the clothing of the virgins. Of what nature is their clothing, sir? I asked. Their very names, he said, are their clothing. Everyone who bears the name of the Son of Yah ought to bear the names also of these, for the Son himself bears the names of these virgins. As many stones, he continued, as you saw come into the building of the tower through the hands of these virgins, remaining have been clothed with the strength. For this reason, you see that the tower became of one stone with the rock. So also they who have believed on Yah through his Son and are clothed with these spirits shall become the tower. Those stones, sir, that were rejected, I inquired, on what account were they rejected? For they passed through the gate and were placed by the hands of the virgins in the building tower. Since you take an interest in everything, he replied, and examine minutely, hear about the stones that were rejected. These all, he said, received the name of Yah, and they received also the strength of these virgins. Having received them, these spirits, they were made strong and were with the servants of Yah, and theirs was one spirit and one body and one clothing, for they were of the same mind and wrought righteousness. After a certain time, however, they were persuaded by the woman whom you saw clothed in black, and having their shoulders exposed and their hair disheveled and beautiful in appearance. Having seen these women, they desired to have them and clothe themselves with their strength, and put off the strength of the virgins. These accordingly were rejected from the house of Yah, and were given over to these women. But they who were not deceived by the beauty of these women remained in the house of Yah. You have, he said, the explanation of those who were rejected. What then, sir? I said, if these men, being such as they are, repent and put away their desires after these women, and return again to the virgins, and walk in their strength and in their works, shall they not enter into the house of Yah? They shall enter in, he said, if they put away the works of these women, and put on again the strength of the virgins, and walk in their works. For on this account was there a cessation in the building, in order that those repent they may depart into the building of the tower. This reminds me of Yah's patient and desires none to perish. But if they do not repent, then others will come in their place, and these at the end will be cast out. For all these things I gave thanks to Yah, because he had pity on all that call upon his name, and sent the angel of repentance to us, who sinned against him, and renewed our spirit. And when we were already destroyed and had no hope of life, he restored us to newness of life. Now, sir, I continued, show me why the tower was not built upon the ground, but upon the rock and upon the gate. Are you still, he said, without sense and understanding? I must, sir, I said, ask you of all things, because I am wholly unable to understand them, for all these things are great and glorious, and difficult for men to understand. Listen, he said, the name of the Son of Yah is great, and cannot be contained, and supports the whole world. If then the whole creation is supported by the Son of Yah, what do you think of those who are called by him and bear the name of the Son of Yah and walk in his commandments? Do you see what kind of person he supports? Those who bear his name with their whole heart, he himself accordingly became a foundation of them and supports them with joy because they are not ashamed to bear his name. Chapter 15. Explain to me, sir, I said, the names of these virgins and of the women who were clothed in black raiment. Here he said the names of the stronger virgins who stood at the corners. This is important. The first is faith, the second continence. So I figured that would be like the opposite of covetousness. The first is faith, the second continence, the third power, the fourth patience, and the others standing in the midst of these have the following names: simplicity, innocence, purity, cheerfulness, truth, understanding, harmony, love. He who bears these names and that of the Son of Yah will be able to enter into the kingdom of Yah. I'm going to read that again here. Faith, continence, power, patience, simplicity, innocence, purity, cheerfulness, truth, understanding, harmony, love. Yah's love. He who bears these names and that of the Son of Yah will be able to enter into the kingdom of Yah. Here also he continued the names of the women who had the black garments, and of these four are stronger than the rest. This is the bad spirits you don't want. The first is unbelief, the second incontinence. So the good one was continence. So the first is unbelief, the second incontinence, the third disobedience, the fourth deceit, and their followers are called sorrow, wickedness, wantonness, anger, falsehood, folly, backbiting, hatred. I'm going to read this all one more time. Okay, so explain to me, sir, I said, the names of these virgins and of these women who were clothed in black raiment. Here he said the names of the stronger virgins who stood at the corners. The first is faith, the second continence, the third power. Here also he continued the names of the women who had the black garments, and of these four are stronger than the rest. The first is unbelief, the second incontinence, the third disobedience, the fourth deceit, and their fellows are called sorrow, wickedness, wantonness, anger, falsehood, folly, backbiting, hatred. The servant of Yah who bears these names shall see indeed the kingdom of Yah, but shall not enter into it. And the stones, sir, I said, which were taken out of the pit and fitted into the building, what are they? The first, he said, the 10 that were placed as a foundation are the first generation, and the 25 the second generation of the righteous men. The 35 are the prophets of Yah and his ministers, and the 40 are the apostles and teachers of the preaching of the Son of Yah. Why then, sir, I asked, did the virgins carry these stones also through the gate and give them for the building of the tower? Because, he answered, these were the first who bore these spirits, and they never departed from each other, neither the spirits from the men, nor the men from the spirits, but the spirits remained with them until their falling asleep. And unless they had these spirits with them, they would not have been of use for the building of this tower. Chapter I think I'll leave it right there for now because we still have a lot to read. This similitude, and don't take my word for this. Some things came to mind before about this, though, that I wondered if maybe Isaiah 4 and 1 had something to do with it, and then also so I've been thinking about that menorah thing a lot. So because there's the 7 spirits mentioned in Zechariah and Daniel and other places. So let's get that from the Bible here. Zechariah. Actually, let's go to Daniel. No. Did I have that right? Oh. Guess I had that wrong. One sec. It's right here. Unless I just didn't get the chapter right there. So, in Isaiah 11, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, counsel, might, the spirit of knowledge, and the fear of Yah. So, and don't know if that. So the 7, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, counsel, might, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, counsel, might, discernment, and the fear of Yah. That's what I remember in another place here. That's if your eye be single, your whole body will be full of light. But, sorry if I missed anything. Note mismanagement and that. Take caution, take care. Yeah, bless.